Hey guys, happy Friday. We are going to read our last two chapters of Stage Fright on a Summer's Night. Jack and Annie have just finished performing in Will's play called A Midsummer's Night's Dream. And now Jack has gone off stage and found that Annie has saved the bear that they met earlier. And he is crouched down wearing a cape and a lion's mask. And the owner of the bear is very upset. But they turn around and Will and Puck are standing behind them. And we're hoping that maybe they'll be able to help them out. Alright, let's read chapters 9 and 10 to see what happens. Chapter 9, Sweet Sorrow. Tut tut, you're a sorry sight, man, Will said to the bear's owner, trying to sell an old, tame bear to the fight. Well, I've been planning to write a play with a part for a bear. So take this money for him and be gone. Will handed some gold coins to the bear's owner. The man's eyes grew wide. He laughed. You can have him, the man said, and he took off. Thank you, and good riddance, called Will. Then he turned to Puck. Take our new player to the stables. Tell the actors they needn't be afraid of him. He's tamer than most of them. Come this way, Puck said. He put his arm around the bear and gently led him out from the trees. You'll love the stage, old man. Bye, Puck. Bye, Dan, said Annie. Puck smiled and waved. The bear stared for a moment at Jack and Annie. He had a grateful look in his eyes. Then he lumbered off with Puck. Thanks, Will, for helping Dan, said Annie, and for helping us. Thank you both for helping me, said Will. You saved the day. The night, you mean, said Jack. Indeed, the night, said Will. Oh, here is your bag. You forgot it. He gave Jack his leather bag. Then he held out their two scrolls with their lines on them. And you can take these, said Will. He handed them to Jack, and Jack put them in his bag. Where are you off to now? Said Will. The other side of London Bridge, said Annie. Ah, I can take you there in my boat, said Will. Follow me. Will led them along a dusty path toward the river. The last rays of the sun slanted through the trees. Soon they came to a small rowboat docked on the Thames. Climb in, said Will. Jack, Annie, and Will climbed in. Will untied the boat from the dock. Then he began rowing across the river. The water reflected the purple and pink in the sky. Only a few white swans now glided over the shimmering ripples. The river smelled as bad as before, but Jack didn't mind now. He had grown used to it. Jack pulled out his notebook and pencil. What are you doing? Will asked. I want to write some of my memories in my notebook, said Jack. Ah, and I'll note you both in my book of memory, said Will. Jack smiled. I have a question, Will, said Annie. Why does Queen Elizabeth have black teeth? Too much sugar, said Will. I hope it doesn't make her feel bad looking that way, said Annie. Oh no, she's not the least hurt, said Will. The Queen has no idea how she looks. She hasn't peeked in a good mirror for 20 years. Is that true? Said Annie. 'Tis, said Will. The Queen pretends to be young and beautiful, just as you pretended to be a boy, and the bear pretended to be an actor. You see, all the world's a stage. Jack liked that idea. He wrote in his notebook, all the world's a stage. Jack looked up at London Bridge as they passed by. The shops on the bridge were closed now. The theater crowd was thinning out. The scary black birds were no longer on the rooftops. They had swooped down and were picking at the garbage left on the cobblestones. The show was over. By the time they came to the riverbank, night was falling. It was much cooler. Will tied up his rowboat and climbed ashore with Jack and Annie. "Thanks a lot," Jack said to Will. "We can go the rest of the way by ourselves." "Where do you live?" said Will. "In Frog Creek," said Annie. "What path do you take?" asked Will. "You'll never believe this," said Annie. "We climb up the rope ladder to a tree house in that tree over there, and we open a book." "Then we make a wish," said Jack, "and we go to the place in the book." Will smiled. "Thy life's a miracle, isn't it?" he said. "Yes," said Annie. Jack nodded. He liked the way Will looked at things. "I have an idea," said Will. "Why don't you both stay here instead? You can live and act at the Globe Theater. I'll ask the Queen to exclude you from the law about girls going on stage, Annie, because of your great talent. And I will teach you both to write plays." "Really?" said Jack and Annie together. Jack couldn't imagine anything more fun. Then he thought of his parents back in Frog Creek. "But our mom and dad," he said. "We would really miss them," said Annie. Will smiled. "I understand," he said, "and I would miss you if I were them." He put his hand over his heart. "So good night, parting is such sweet sorrow." "Yes, 'tis," said Annie, nodding. "Farewell," said Will. He waved. Jack and Annie waved back. Then Will turned on his heels and headed back to his rowboat. Jack and Annie walked to the rope ladder and climbed up to the treehouse. When they got inside, they looked out the window. Will was rowing back across the river. A single white swan glided across the ripples beside his boat. A silver moon was rising in the sky. At that moment, Jack did feel the sweet sorrow. He wanted to stay in the merry old England just a little longer. "Wait, Will!" he shouted, but Annie picked up the Pennsylvania book. "I wish we could go home," she said. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster, and then everything was still. Absolutely still. Chapter 10. Our Will? Jack opened his eyes. They were wearing their own clothes again. A lightning bug blinked inside the growing darkness of the treehouse. Annie picked up Morgan's note. She repeated the rhyme. "To find a special magic, you must step into the light, and without wand, spell, or charm, turn daytime into night." "We found the special magic," said Annie. "Theater magic." "Yep," said Jack. He opened his backpack. He and Annie took out the 2 scrolls Will had given them. When they unrolled them, Jack saw that Will had written something. He read aloud. "Thank you both for helping me. Your friend, William Shakespeare." "William Shakespeare?" said Annie. "I've heard that name before." "Me too," said Jack. He took out their research book. He looked up Shakespeare in the index. He turned to a page and read aloud. "William Shakespeare lived from 1564 to 1616. He wrote 37 plays and many sonnets and other poems. Many people think that he was the greatest writer who ever lived." "The greatest?" said Annie. "Our Will?" "Oh, man," whispered Jack. He stared in amazement at William Shakespeare's autograph. "Hey, we can leave our scrolls with Morgan's note," said Annie. It'll prove to her that we found a special magic. They put their 2 scrolls next to the note on the floor. They climbed down the rope ladder. When they started walking through the woods, a breeze blew, shaking the tree leaves. Shadows shifted. Birds called from hidden places. "Remember the enchanted woods?" Annie said in a hushed voice. "The fairy queen and the fairy king?" Jack smiled and nodded. "And Puck, the merry wanderer of the night?" said Andy. "And Will, our Will?" Jack nodded again. "I had a great time," said Annie. "Didn't you?" Jack sighed. "Yes," he said. Then he took a deep breath and spoke very clearly and with feeling. "I have had a most rare vision. I have had a dream." The end. All right, guys, I want to hear about your favorite part of the whole book in the discussion post below. All right, don't forget to post in at least one of them, but to get a shout out on Monday, I want to see if you can post in all of them. All right, guys, I'll see you on Monday.